Hello Aquarius, Aquarius Sun, Moon, Rising, all the people who have Aquarius strong in their natal chart. If you have personal planets in Aquarius, this is a reading for you. It's a reading for 2020. It really sounds good, isn't it? Okay. As you can see, the cards are already on the table because I was doing this reading in my native language first. First, you appear. What's your card? You appear as Ace of Swords together with the Emperor. It's unbelievably strong energy, I would say, with you, Aquarius. I think you're going to be victorious. You're going to be very courageous. If you plan to build something in your life, then there's great opportunity that you will manage to do it with great success, because the Emperor is the King of Kings and the ruler of the Empire. It's also about establishing boundaries, strong boundaries if you need them in your life. So that's the first thing, the strength, the power, the masculine principle that I see here. Because this energy is quite phallic too. So there may be conception, especially if you are male. And overall, lots of courage, lots of ideas. Ace of Swords is also a very brilliant mind, which doesn't surprise me at all, because we are Aquarians, after all. We have brilliant minds. So there's this wit within you this year that may even become wisdom one day, or will become wisdom. So the power of air is present here together with the power of fire, because the Emperor is connected with Aries, the fire sign, the cardinal sign that begins the whole cycle. So together they create quite a combustible concoction. So acting, thinking and acting. What is your theme for the year? It's wind. So again, air element. I'm gonna read it to you. What does the wind card say? It says number 63. The symbol of the wind represents the element of air. It rules communication, thought, song, and inspired ideas. It also signifies change with qualities both positive and negative. The wind blows from each of the 4 directions, and there are different qualities bestowed by each. South, carrying a new sense of trust, helping you gently begin to discard habits and parts of you that are no longer needed. West, calling you to more introspection, to a willingness to make final decisions, to let go of attachment and ego desires. North, moving to bring you wisdom and strength. And East, carrying clarity of vision and purpose. Whichever way the wind is blowing for you, the message which the wind whispers or shouts is a challenge. It may take courage at first to turn and face the wind, but you will find exaltation in moving toward it and receiving its lesson. The invitation, when the spirit of the wind comes calling, it's a sign of change. Perhaps you need to change your mind about something. Perhaps an old way of doing things has become automatic, and now that you've gained greater clarity, you can make a new choice. Regardless of what the change is, you can expect to be understood and to have clear communication with others at this time. Ideas are solid, and the shift that is being called for is in the highest good of all. And the medicine, because it can also work as a medicine. When wind comes as a medicine, you are being invited to recognize the value of chaos. Windstorms provide necessary chaos to clear the air and spread seeds so plants and trees can take root in new fields. Right now, it may seem as if your world has been turned upside down, but this is a temporary storm that will blow over. Perhaps communication has broken down between you and another, or you may your many to-do lists are overwhelming you. The medicine is to simplify, slow down, course correct if you need to, and wait out the storm to clean things up. Just know that all storms have great value if you can remain neutral during their course. Greater clarity and good things will come from it all. Remember, this too shall pass. It's very reassuring for you that everything will pass. And together with the wind, you have Curandera over, which is the king of swords, so the king of wind. So you may expect that you are very much in touch with this element, and it really works for you this year. It really creates and co-creates your power. So I think your thoughts, your cerebral capabilities will do great work for you this year. And you can also heal many things with these mind works of yours, okay? Because Curandera is someone who heals, a healer. So changes, definitely, making decisions, because King of Swords has really no difficulties with decisions. And again, this Emperor with a sword is like King of Swords. So this energy repeats. I think you are very much in sync with what's around you. As for the sketch of the year, the short, quick picture of the year, we have 9 of fire, we have 5 of air, and together they create really powerful and difficult force, I think. Then we have the Wheel of Fortune and Adelita of water, which is King of Cups. So this energy is quite different than these two. I think it's good that it appeared, because without this water, without this more feminine element, this reading would be very, very harsh and rigid. But fortunately, this knight, this Adelita of water, assures that whatever you'll be doing, you will do it with a tenderness towards yourself. You will remember about your heart. You will remember how to protect yourself in this whirl of changes that's going to appear. So there is this, again, capability, opportunity within you to use also this more gentle approach towards life, towards other people. But overall, knowing what I know, seeing all the cards, I would recommend really being cautious about your power. I think the main motto of this reading is you don't realize how strong you are, Aquarius. You are very strong this year, and you may do many great things using this strength, but you are also dangerous. Let's state it. You may be very, very dangerous, especially with these two cards indicating that you are stubborn, loyal, and consequent in whatever you're doing. And you can put things on the edge doing it. 5 of air, this is the energy that is sometimes called loss. Sometimes it's called fear. And it shows a situation when there is no win-win possibility. There's always loss with 5 of air. It can be your loss. There can be something that you need to cut out, as I said before. You have the sword in your hand, so if something is not necessary, you will repel it, I think. But it can also be directed towards others if they don't comply, if they don't work with you, if they obstruct whatever you're doing. I think you're gonna be very, very determined this year to really do whatever you planned doing. It's going to be very, very important to you to really finish things the way you planned it. And you have lots of energy here with Nine of Fire. This is the accumulation of the energy of fire. And this creates change, most definitely. The change that you predict, it's not something surprising here, the Wheel of Fortune. This is something that you plan. This is something that you can expect, like after winter there comes spring, right? So these changes are the result of your deeds and your decisions. Perhaps when these changes take place, you tend to be more open. Perhaps that's the way it works. Let's hope that this openness and love will be with you all the time, not only after the change is done. Because you need this kind of soft energy, I think. And I'm going to talk about this later, but now let's focus on what's the lesson of the year. What is the most important lesson? And you have Ace of Wands, which is similar to Ace of Swords. Not the same, but similar. Also a phallic energy, a very active, masculine energy of fire. This time more connected to the will of life, the passion you have, and the capability of doing things, making things done, Ace of Wands. So I think you will learn that you can do things, you can start things, you can be a fire starter. Perhaps you were waiting for something very, very long time, and now you finally make the great beginning. No more waiting for you this year, is what I feel here. There can also be this notion of doing things that are worth doing them. It will take time to evaluate if something is really worth my time and effort. And if it does, you will waste no time. The challenge here, as I said before, you need this gentle approach, because the challenge is Six of Cups, which is all about being mild and gentle and childlike and loving and understanding. This may be lacking in your life. You may be so absorbed by whatever you're doing, incorporating these new ideas into life and making changes, that you can be even not aware that something is missing in your life. This gentleness, sweetness. You can be like this Four of Coins energy, really focused on building your power. But what's the power when you cannot share it with others, when you cannot make benefit for others? So don't think only about you and your heart. Also try to realize what others think, and most of all what others feel when you create change, when you build your power. Your strength. And we have this beautiful card of Six of Pentacles, which clearly indicates that you have the power to share. You have the power to not only give, but also take. And your strength is the greatest when you keep those two things in balance. When there is giving and taking, when the energy flows. Also, when you do this, you become master of reality, because you have always everything that you need to incorporate your ideas and to create success in your life. You also have the Fool here, which says that there may be situations when you take risks, when you enter the new without knowing what's going to be. But I think you have great intuition into things that are going to be successful. So these new endeavors, this Ace of Wands, Ace of Swords, they may be chosen by you by some kind of material intuition that you have, that, yeah, I don't know how it's going to be, but deep inside, I know I'm going to be successful. So great strength here. And then what to do, what not to do. What to do? I have 3 of Swords, so the Swords energy is very strong here, together with King of Wands. So again, masculine principle. What's happening here is that this King of Wands is really interested in dealing with this. So you need to deal with something that is keeping your heart frozen, that is keeping your heart dead. These are old stories or old thoughts or old habits I was talking about previously that don't let your heart beat because it's pierced through in many ways. This King of Wands is really ready to stand up and do something with it. And that's what you should do. What you shouldn't do is this Queen of Swords. She's not even looking at it. It's like it never existed, or it's obvious that it is this way. It has always been this way, and it's always going to be this way. That's what I feel when I see her just talking to someone, just creating new ideas, new thoughts, new words, and not really addressing what's most important, this 3 of Swords. And she came with 5 of Swords, and this is very cruel energy altogether, because this queen is sometimes called a widow queen or a divorcee queen. And I think what she talks is very bitter here. And this may be the notion of auto-aggression and being very harsh to yourself. So don't do this to yourself. Really pay attention to your wounds and care for them. Remove those swords with the help of King of Wands. This is your own helping hand. Okay? Don't be cruel to yourself. Don't try to mend it with words. It's not how it's going to be. You need to mend it with your own hands. Okay. Now, as for seasons of the year, in the winter, we have 9 of Pentacles, lovely vibration of being happy with what you have and being really satisfied with who you are and what you do. And also making use of fruits of your labor. What I see here and what I feel here is rest. Perhaps a good time to take some time off your work. Doing something different, especially that energy. What should you do? You have 4 of Swords. So take rest. Perhaps go to a spa, go skiing, enjoy life in a peaceful way. It's not an active energy. Sleep well. Then in spring, the energy changes. We have 7 of Pentacles, so we are still into material things. I love this card because it shows what feeds my plant, what feeds my tree. What is that is important to me to live? What makes me grow? This man is assessing it. And perhaps what you're gonna do is to find new ways to feed yourself and to cut out everything that doesn't work for you. Ace of Swords definitely suggests action, taking action, perhaps severing something, making place for new things to appear. And you will take your gain into consideration, I think. In summer, you have the vibration of 2 of Wands, which is lovely. It's very adventurous in this deck. You began something with Ace of Wands, so there is this idea, the sparkle, and now you make something more of it. You plan your journey. You plan how to, not what, but how to make it the best way. Usually 2 of Wands may be about hesitating and making plans, but I think together with King of Swords, which is the advice here, that there won't be any problem with that. There won't be any problem with making decisions and seeing clearly, what is my destination? Look at her. She's looking on the horizon. She has the help with the globe, with some kind perhaps of a brochure. These are her dreams, and these dreams may come true with the aid of King of Swords, who already decided what to do and how to do it. And then in autumn, very interesting energy of the Tower. Look at what happens here. We have some kind of a, I don't know what it is, a hill or a tump? What's the tree that is cut? Old tree. And these things are really turning into molecules by the energy of Tower. So there is disintegration here. But when the Tower strikes, the disintegration only serves to build something instead. There's always something instead with the Tower. It is change, of course, an unexpected one. But most definitely, I feel the Tower as a shift that brings you back to your track, to the right track. And with the vibration of Tower, we have the Magician, and this is really powerful, I think. There's this feeling that I have that whatever happens here, whatever is disintegrated, you only make it even better for yourself. When I look at these two pictures, the first thing I see is the lightning here and here. It's like if the lightning strikes, not only you not hide and run, but you pull out your stick and you say, hit me, I need this energy. I need to transform it into something that I like. My will is done here. So you take these disintegrated parts and use them in a new way, like the creator of life. So it's very, very energetic at the end of the year. I love it. Overall, this year is full of changes, full of energy, full of action, I think, for Aquarians. It's not going to be boring, really. And I like it because there is this vibe that this is the beginning of a decade also. The 20s, new 20s. We're going to enter it. How many things can we do in 10 years? Think about it. Not only about the year 2020, which sounds great, but also think about the fact that this is the first year of a decade. And what you begin this year may last for the decade. So this greater perspective is needed here, I think. Okay, and now for the more named areas in your life. Oh, no. Sorry, I forgot, as always. Who is your guide first? It's Shaolin Master. And I like it. I think it's this reminder of gentle energy needed. You can see he's very strong, but he's also gentle. What it says is be graceful in movement and action, slow and steady, breathe and flow, take a gentler approach. And the message goes like this: you are being guided to flow like water, blow like air, and connect with your purest intentions. Don't feel you need to rush ahead. A gentler approach will be more fruitful and rewarding. Move with subtlety and grace. Reach high, but also ask yourself how you can move with the flow of life rather than pushing against it. Do you have the capacity to refocus your gaze at this time? Can you slow down? Or take more time to soften and breathe as you move forward? All of this will be incredibly beneficial for what happens next. So yeah, take time, take a deep breath, and be graceful in movement and action. Don't be too harsh on you, on others. And what's going to heal you this year is duality. I have this beautiful card from Shamanic Healing Oracle. And it goes like this. Black and white, good and evil, yes and no, up and down, and want, don't want. These are all examples of dualistic thinking. What if you banned these labels from your thoughts for a day? What would happen? Would the world end? Doubtful. Would some person get away with something? No. Would you attach less emotion to a bad situation or drama? Possibly. If that happened and there was less attachment to a situation, you could keep your vibrations higher, which would enable you to deal more successfully with any situation that comes your way. Given enough time, most bad situations, bad in brackets, work out in the end. It is your choice to be drama-free or spend a lot of time and energy wasted on a situation that will turn out okay in the end. What do you choose? What do you choose? It's your choice always. So take a deep breath and ask yourself always, do I need to label this situation? Or perhaps I can just see it and experience it as it is, without naming. All right, now, your work, Aquarius. I think lots of things happening without conclusion. So perhaps you start something, perhaps you have some kind of an offer, work, money, career. There is progress here, but I don't think it's going to end this year. I don't think there is a conclusion here. You have the moon, which requires intuition and going into darkness with something. But this Queen of Wands, she's not scared, I don't think so. She's very charismatic and strong and active, enjoying life and having many good ideas and making them true. So I think an interesting year that only begins some cycle in your work. As for love, you have difficult cards. Love and relationships and feelings and emotions. There's lots of fear here, I think. Acting first in a cruel way in order to avoid being treated in a cruel way. That's why I was emphasizing so much that you should be gentle, that there is this need to be more compassionate and loving and open to others. Because you may be so into the thing you're changing here with 5 of Swords and 9 of Wands. You may be kind of blind to what you do. You may be so focused on changing the old habits, changing the old ways. There is this fanatic feeling that I have here, and I don't like it, to tell the truth. And I'm going to pay attention to it. I'm also an Aquarius. I'm an Aquarius sun. So it's not that I interpret it in a bad way because, I don't know, I don't like myself. It's not like that. I just see the necessity to warn you that this energy is here. That's why I was saying you don't realize how strong you are. Or there may be a time during this year when you don't realize it. I think you finally will realize it. And the change will happen. I may interpret this like this King of Rods leaving this situation, leaving this way of being and acting into something more shady. Or even perhaps more shady, but not so violent, not so cruel. Perhaps you decide that it's better to do things your way without being so much on the top, without being so loud about it. Because 5 of Swords and 7 of Swords, they are connected together. You can see they are divided. The 2 swords here and 5 swords here. So there may be this notion that I won't make some final movements, some final decisions out loud I will do whatever is necessary in silence without informing people about it. And it may be on a thin red line. Let me remind you about this with Seven of Swords. You always need to check your principles, to check your values with Seven of Swords when it appears. If it's really okay with you, if you don't feel that you trespass your own values, that you don't abuse your own views, whatever you believe in, that's what you need to check here. If it's okay, then whatever people are saying doesn't matter if you're okay with yourself, okay? But be careful. Of course, it can also be the energy of the other if you are in a relationship, especially if the King of Wands is your partner, which may be a fire sign. So Aries, Sagittarius, and Leo. Sun, Moon, Rising, Mars, perhaps. But it generally can be someone fiery, right? And treating others in this cruel and sneaky way. Be careful this year with your feelings, emotions, and relationships. I asked what to do. Sorry, not what to do. First I asked, tell me something more, and there is this tower appearing. So it also can be you doing whatever is necessary in your emotional life. And it may be very destructive. But you feel you have to do it because it's right, because it sets you free, perhaps, and is putting you on the right track. But there is this disruptive, destructive power here. So be very careful with others, please, Aquarius. Take care. What should you do? Well, the approach is be more childlike, be more gentle, be more experiencing and curious about the world, and more optimistic too. So it's still this fiery energy present here, but this one is more delicate and perhaps not so determined. When you look at the fist of the king, you see, he's ready to punch someone. This page, on the other hand, the fist is not clenched. He's just holding the fence in order not to fall. And he's very much like also into the future, looking into the future, active, but more gentle. Okay? Let yourself be that. And as for spiritual growth, you have very interesting cards. Karma, the Zenith, which is Nine of Earth, and Mother of Earth, which is Queen of Pentacles. So I think you're very grounded this year. You may be surrounded by abundance, and you may feel abundance in your life. Look at her. She's just overflowing with everything. She's standing in the pool of life, and that's how I see yourself. And this is something that you have been working for, and now it comes back to you. It is right. It is justified. You reap what you sow, and I think your prize is great here. So in this area, this is a very wonderful year. In other areas, perhaps not so wonderful, perhaps very challenging in some, here in these emotions. But overall, I think a year that really will show you how strong you are, and how with great strength comes great responsibility, because the Emperor is also the one who's responsible for the whole empire. And you should be holding yourself responsible for whatever you're doing this year. Remember about it. It's not gonna disappear in the air. It's gonna stay with you, whatever you're doing here. So, dear Aquarius, I hope You have a wonderful year. I hope you feel your power and use it gently. Be graceful in movement and activities. Okay? Have a great time. Thank you very much. And I see you in next readings. Bye-bye.